sector that have drawn lower cuts of the GST. That is what a big boost is. Now, let me also go back to my guest and focus on having the conversation here. Now, Mr. Hemant Jain, who's the president of the PHDCCI, is joining me once again. Sir, as we were speaking about, now let's focus on how exactly do you think the most benefit these sectors that I've just highlighted are going to get. We see that the farmers and the agricultural produce is largely going to be impacted more specifically. And when we see about the common person who's living in a big city, having to do all the commute as well, petrol and diesel on the GST on that is also going to be impacted. On other note, when we speak of the other appliances, the electronic appliances, from 28 to 18%, that's also a significant margin. In large overview, what is your outlook on how a person living in a big city, a person who's a salaried employed person, is now going to look at their life before and after the GST historic cut?
I think like I said earlier, this is a historic moment when we are seeing GST coming down. In all essential items, we are seeing that today the common man will have more money in his hand to ensure that he's able to spend more, specifically in rural area. The agri sector has been given a boost. I think healthcare sector has been given a boost. Education sector has given a boost. Today, when we see that the cement duties have come down, so the construction and real estate, which is the backbone of the infrastructure, has been given a boost. So we see overall there has been a boost for the common man, and there has been a boost for ensuring that the growth rate in the key infrastructure sector are accounted for. So I think today what we see is that there will be a demand push in the rural sector specifically and in the infrastructure sector also. When we see the cement also coming down specifically. So what we see today that Indian economy has now come out of this thing that electronic items are luxury items. Electronic items are luxury items. Today they are essential items, and as our economy progresses, I think today we are one of the most dynamic and progressive economies in the world, young and dynamic and progressive economy. So we see that electronics items also has been given a big push. So we'll see the demand rising, especially in the rural area for this.
Absolutely. As you know, most are also looking at it as the big GST bonanza. Before the festive season, what the central government has been eyeing on to to give some relief to the common person, as the bonanza is coming out also heavy on the finances. This is a big of a relief that we see. And how do you see in that aspect when we see the markets also trading after the big reforms have been announced, and now in the September 22nd, these are also going to be kicking in, while the festive season is going to be following after that. People are largely going to be spending more. Is that what the much thought that has been also pushed into while making these big cuts and the changes from the earlier to the new tax law?
I think there are two aspects to it. One of that is reduction of duties, which will definitely improve the demand. They will give more money in the hands of people to ensure that the growth rate of GDP continues to be as strong. And today what we see, this is the biggest bonanza the Honorable Prime Minister can give to the industry, specifically for sectors which affect the common man. And for me, the bigger key, along with the reduction in duties, is also simplification of GST. When we see that today the industry, the number of slabs have come down, there is a appellate authority being put in every state to ensure that GST becomes simplified and whatever issues are there are resolved timely. So I think there has been a two-pronged strategy. One is to give money in the hands of people to ensure that they can afford to buy more. And we also see a simplification which will give a big boost to the industry. And today when we see that today on ease of doing business, India would definitely go a few steps higher because of this new GST regime which the government is brought in.
Well, absolutely. As I understand that you're not a market expert, but largely if I have to speak to you over how exactly the stock market have been reacting, the stock markets have surged, Nifty is up by 150 points. How do you decode all of these developments and activities if we only have to stick to only commenting over how the response largely has been like, as we all look into how the markets are reacting today while investing and thinking a lot before we put our money into any of the systems as well. As the big reforms have come in, many are calling it a festive bonanza, many are also calling a middle class reform, many are also saying it as a boost for the farmers. Markets have largely, in an open picture, shared their responses in a very happy manner. What do you think?
Simran, like you said, I'm not a market expert, but as a person from the industry, what we feel that the market will definitely respond positively because of the structural reforms also. When we see that government is bent on making structural reforms for the industry, which will ensure that ease of doing business is happening, which is taken very, very positively from the industry. The middle class, the farmers, the infrastructure, all will benefit from this. So those specific sectors will be given a boost. So we today see that from the industry point of view, that this will definitely give a very, very positive effect on the stock market. And we see in coming times the growth story which India is having as further strengthened, and further I think the government has said that we are here to make it easier for business people. We are here to give money in the hands of people, and we are here to make it right. So I think this is a very, very positive move by the government, and the markets will respond very, very positively on this.
Absolutely, Mr. Jain. As you know, before this big announcement has come in, while we all started speaking about how the economic reform is also going to be largely steering the growth of the finances in the sectors which have been largely hit after the tariff announcement, it is important to note the fact, the spotlight should be on the fact that while the central government has taken an official and diplomatic response on how the US has responded to India with the tariff threat, now it is also for the Indians to realize, and for our economy to also be taking in our own hands and thinking how we can actually steer our own growth. In that regard, what is your thinking about the GST cuts and the exemptions that have been given largely to all the sectors, not just those who have been specifically hit by the US tariff threat?
I think the US tariff threat has put us, US was our biggest trading partner. We had the maximum amount of business with US. So today US tariff had definitely hit the economy hard. But what the government has done is saying that we are okay, US is important, but not so important. We will make India self-reliant. So the government is giving boost to the economy by giving this GST reforms in place, and it's a very timely step because today for last 2 months or 1 month, people have all been debating what will Donald Trump do next. I think today it is a big boost given to the industry to ensure that we can tide over this. So in my view, it's a very, very positive development which the government has done, and we see in this global times when the other governments are thinking what to do, I think our government has actually acted, and they've acted very fast. So this is something which is a key for ensuring that our growth trajectory remains intact. So I see today the speed of the implementation of GST has been a key to us.
Well, all right. In fact, Mr. Hemant Jain, thank you very much. Appreciate your well put and also in fact valid insights that we are tracking at this point, and a pleasure to have spoken to you and also learned from you about how the responses have come in from the industry leaders and the markets as well. As this morning we tracked the pulse of how the responses have been on the historic GST cut. Thank you very much for speaking to us live on the telecast. Now,
Thanks.
it's time to shift our focus to more developments. External Affairs Minister